The Terran probe Pioneer XIB floated quietly into the far edges of the Sol system. Its metal body shined with strange patterns. After being gone for 300 years, the old exploration vessel had come back home, but it was different now. Director Park looked at the incoming information with shock. His heart beat fast, but his voice stayed calm as he said, "Make sure this reading is right." Lieutenant Kim moved her fingers quickly across the light display in front of her. "Yes, sir. It is Pioneer XIB. But these changes, we didn't make them. Get Dr. Lee here now," Park ordered, "and start first contact protocol." The probe that was once simple now had technology humans couldn't understand. Smooth parts made of unknown metals, crystal structures that glowed with inner light, and movement systems that broke the rules of physics as humans knew them. Dr. Lee got to the space station in just a few hours. He was the best person to lead this study because he knew the most about alien technology. As workers carefully brought the probe into the safety room, he looked at the first scans with growing wonder. "This probe has so much data it could fill all our world's computers," he said quietly. "And these energy patterns, I've never seen anything like them." The next day, Dr. Lee and his team set up special tools to study the probe more closely. They worked in special suits to protect themselves from any possible dangers. "Be careful," Dr. Lee told his assistant, Dr. Ba. "We don't know what might trigger these systems." Dr. Ba nodded and slowly moved a scanner over the largest crystal structure. The crystal pulsed brighter in response. "It's reacting to our equipment," she said, stepping back. Suddenly, the crystal flashed with a blue light. Everyone froze. "Nobody move," Dr. Lee ordered. A thin beam of light shot out from the crystal and formed a flat screen of energy in the air. Strange symbols began to appear. "It's trying to communicate," Dr. Lee whispered. Director Park called an emergency meeting with Earth's top leaders. Representatives from every major nation gathered virtually to hear about the probe. "We believe it encountered at least 7 different alien civilizations," Dr. Lee explained. "Each one studied our probe and then added their own technology to it." The world president asked, "Are they friendly?" "We don't know yet," Dr. Lee answered honestly. "But they sent our probe back to us. That must mean something." Back in the lab, Dr. Ba made a breakthrough. "Dr. Lee, I've figured out part of their language system." Dr. Lee rushed over. On her screen was a translation of the first message. "We found your wanderer among the stars." It read, "Your simple creation showed great thinking. We have improved it and returned it to its makers. The galaxy waits." News of the probe spread across Earth. People gathered in public spaces to watch updates. Some were scared, but most felt excited. Humans were not alone in the universe. Dr. Lee didn't sleep for 3 days straight as he worked to understand more of the alien additions to the probe. Each new discovery amazed him more. "They've given us the key to faster-than-light travel," he told Director Park during a private meeting, "and energy technology beyond anything we've ever dreamed of." "Why would they give us these gifts?" Park asked, suspicious. Dr. Lee thought for a moment. "I don't think they're gifts. I think they're tests." In the quarantine bay, the probe began to change again. Small parts moved and rearranged themselves. The team watched nervously from behind safety glass. "What's happening?" Director Park demanded. "I think it's building something," Dr. Lee answered. Over the next hour, the probe constructed a small device that floated in the air next to it. The device suddenly projected a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, with thousands of points of light marking what could only be inhabited worlds. Earth's location blinked red. "It's showing us where we are in the galaxy," Dr. Lee said. "And where they are." Many of the lights were clustered together in networks, but Earth sat alone in an empty region of space. "We're isolated," Dr. Ba observed. "Or quarantined," Director Park added darkly. As they watched, a line of light began to draw itself from Earth toward the nearest cluster of alien worlds. A message appeared above the map in newly translated alien script. "The path is open," Dr. Lee read aloud. "Humanity may now join the conversation of worlds." After 3 days of non-stop work, Dr. Lee stood in the middle of the crowded lab. Dark circles hung under his eyes, but excitement made him look alive. Scientists, military officers, and government officials had gathered to hear his findings. "I found something important," he said, his voice quiet but strong. Everyone leaned closer. "The probe has messages inside it, not just from one alien group, but from 7 different kinds of aliens." Captain Choi, a tall man with a serious face, moved to the front of the room. "Are they threatening us?" he asked sharply. Dr. Lee shook his head. "No, not exactly." He pressed a button on his wrist device. A large, colorful image appeared in the air in front of them. "They're more like upgrades." Each alien group found our probe, studied it, added their own technology, and sent it on its way again. The floating image began to move, showing Pioneer XIB traveling through space they had never seen before. The room fell silent as they watched strange worlds spinning around stars that weren't their sun. Odd-shaped spaceships came near the probe. Then they saw alien hands working on the probe. Some hands had too many fingers, others had no fingers at all. These aliens carefully took apart and rebuilt the old human machine. The last aliens to find it figured out what it really was. Dr. Lee continued, pointing to a part of the image showing blue-skinned beings. "They understood it was from Earth and decided to send it back to us." Major Song, a woman with short hair and sharp eyes, frowned. Why would they do that? After all this time? Dr. Lee's face grew serious. "That's what worries me. I think they sent it back as a warning." The room broke into worried whispers. "Show us the evidence," Director Park ordered. Dr. Lee nodded and touched his device again. The image changed to show strange symbols. "This is their writing. We've translated some of it." He pointed to different marks. "This group called themselves the Bright Ones. They found our probe near their mining colony. They were surprised by our basic technology, but impressed by our math equations." He moved to another section. "This group, the Cloud Swimmers, added the crystal power source. They left a message saying our probe showed unexpected thinking patterns." One by one, he showed what each alien group had done. One added better materials. Another fixed damage from space rocks. A third group gave it better sensors. But the last group, the Blue Sphere Alliance, did the most work, Dr. Lee explained. He enlarged part of the image to show detailed alien writing. "They recognized our probe as human-made. They knew about us already." "How?" someone asked. "They've been watching," Dr. Lee said simply. "They've picked up our radio and TV signals for over 200 years. They know our languages, our history, our wars." Captain Choi stepped forward. "So they know our weaknesses and our strengths," Dr. Lee added. "That's why I think this is a warning. Look at this part." He showed them a sequence of images. Earth, then growing into a spacefaring civilization, then spreading across the galaxy. But the sequence ended with bright flashes and darkness. "They fear what we might become," Dr. Lee said softly. Dr. Bai raised her hand. "But they gave us advanced technology. Why do that if they fear us?" Dr. Lee smiled sadly. "To test us, to see what we do with it." He touched another control, and a new image appeared. A map of nearby space with 7 distinct regions marked in different colors. "These are their territories. Notice anything?" Major Song stepped closer. "They're all avoiding our part of space, like they've made a zone around us." "Exactly," Dr. Lee said. "They've been keeping their distance, but now they're reaching out." Director Park cleared his throat. "You said there are messages. What exactly do they say?" Dr. Lee's fingers moved across his device, bringing up translated text. The Blue Sphere Alliance left the clearest message. It says, "We return your messenger. You are known to us. Your path is your choice. The room was quiet for a long moment. Captain Choi broke the silence. It sounds like a challenge. Or an invitation, Dr. Ba suggested. Dr. Lee nodded. Or both. But there's more. He showed them another image. A strange device attached to the probe. This is some kind of communication tool. I think they expect us to answer. Director Park ran his hand through his gray hair. What should we say to them? Dr. Lee looked around the room at all the worried faces. That's the big question, isn't it? They've shown us they're watching. They've shown us they have power. But they've also shown us respect by returning our probe improved rather than destroyed. So they're giving us a choice, Major Song said. Yes, Dr. Lee agreed. And how we respond might determine humanity's place in the galaxy for centuries to come. The Emergency Council gathered in the underground bunker beneath the Capitol. The room was designed to survive nuclear attacks, but today it faced something no one had planned for. First contact with aliens. Dr. Lee stood at the front of the room. Behind him, screens showed strange symbols and star charts. 20 world leaders sat around the large round table, their faces showing worry and wonder. Based on all the messages in the probe, there is a huge community of space-traveling aliens out there, Dr. Lee explained. He pointed to a map showing thousands of stars connected by lines. They trade with each other. They share technology. They have space politics. President Yoon, a serious woman with silver hair, tapped her pen on the table. And where does humanity fit in this community? She asked. That's the strange part, Madam President, Lee answered. We don't fit anywhere. To them, humans are like a myth, a legendary aggressive creative species that disappeared from space before we could travel between stars. He touched a button, and the screen showed a detailed map of the galaxy. Lines connected thousands of worlds in a complex web, but Earth's part of space stood alone, with no connections. Strange triangle symbols surrounded the empty area around Earth. Those are warning markers, Dr. Lee explained. They've put them all around our region of space. Admiral Han, an older man with a weathered face, leaned forward to study the map. They're afraid of us, he said firmly. But that makes no sense. We've barely left our own solar system. Dr. Lee nodded. I thought the same thing at first. He pressed another button. The screens now showed ancient human broadcasts alongside alien writing. They found our old TV shows, our radio signals, our early tries at space travel. The images changed to show early human rockets, astronauts on the moon, and space probes. What impressed them was how we think, our determination even though we had limited resources, Dr. Lee continued. But what scared them was how fast we created new technology and our history of fighting wars. The screen showed images of human history, ancient battles, modern wars, nuclear tests, but also medical breakthroughs, computers, and peaceful space missions. They've been studying us for centuries, Dr. Lee said. They've watched our whole history play out. President Yoon's eyes widened as she understood. So they didn't return this probe as a friendly hello. No, said Dr. Lee. They sent it back to check if we're still here, and to let us know they're watching us. The room fell silent as everyone took in this news. Do they mean to harm us? Asked the European Union representative. Dr. Lee shook his head. I don't think so. At least not right now. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it long ago. Their technology is far beyond ours. Then what do they want? President Yoon asked. Dr. Lee touched another control. The screen showed a strange alien device. This was attached to the probe. It's some kind of test. What kind of test? Admiral Han demanded. A test of our character, Dr. Lee said. Look at this. The screens changed to show what looked like a simple puzzle box on the probe. We found this yesterday. It contains technology that could give us clean energy for the whole planet. But to access it, we have to solve this puzzle. That doesn't sound too hard, someone said. The catch is, Dr. Lee explained, solving it one way gives us the energy technology. Solving it another way gives us weapon technology. Everyone looked at each other. They're testing what we value, President Hume realized. Exactly, Dr. Lee said. And I believe they're watching our choice. Admiral Han frowned. So they play games with us. Who are they to judge us? Dr. Lee pulled up new images, strange alien beings of various shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human-like, others were completely different. Floating gas clouds, crystalline structures, and more. These are the 7 species that modify our probe. Together, they form what translates as the 7 Stars Accord. They manage most of the galactic trade and diplomacy. And they all fear humans, asked the African Union leader. Not exactly fear, Dr. Lee corrected. More like cautious respect. Look at this. He showed them alien writing next to pictures of Earth. They call humans the quick thinkers, or sometimes the lonely innovators. They see us as dangerous, but also fascinating. They note how we solved problems in ways they never thought of. President Hume stood up and walked to the screens. So they're giving us a chance to join them. I think so, Dr. Lee said, but on their terms. Admiral Han snorted. And if we don't like their terms? Dr. Lee looked grim. Then I believe they'll continue to keep us isolated. They've managed to contain us so far. Or, President Hume said quietly, they might decide we're too unpredictable to leave alone. Everyone in the room felt the weight of her words. We need to decide how to respond, she continued. The future of humanity depends on what we do next. For 3 weeks, Dr. Lee and his team barely left the high-security lab. They slept on cots, ate quick meals, and worked around the clock. Every day brought new discoveries as they studied the alien changes to Pioneer XIV. I need more coffee, Dr. Ba said, rubbing her tired eyes. Dr. Lee nodded, not looking up from his work. There's something strange here. Come look at this. Dr. Ba walked over to his station. On the screen was a comparison of the original human-made circuit and the alien versions. They kept our design, she said, surprised. Why would they do that? Dr. Lee smiled. That's what I've been asking myself. The next day, Dr. Lee called a meeting with Earth's leaders. The room was tense as military officers and government officials filed in. I have important news, Dr. Lee began. He showed them side-by-side images of human and alien technology. The aliens changed almost everything about our probe, but not everything. He pointed to several parts of the original probe design. These circuits, these math equations, even this simple radio antenna, they kept all of these. General Moon, a tall man with a stern face, leaned forward. Why would they keep old, basic human technology? Because they couldn't improve it, Dr. Lee said with a hint of pride. Our simple human designs were already perfect. The room broke into surprised whispers. Show us, President Hume demanded. Dr. Lee nodded and displayed a complex pattern on the screen. This circuit pattern was created by NASA engineers in the 1970s. All 7 alien species kept it exactly the same. They couldn't make it better. Our design was mathematically perfect, even though it was made with what they would consider Stone Age technology. General Moon stroked his chin. So they respect our thinking while fearing what we might become. Exactly, Dr. Lee agreed. And there's more. I found hidden data showing these aliens have been carefully staying away from Earth's part of space for hundreds of years. They've been watching us grow, tracking our progress. Like scientists watching animals in the wild, Dr. Bai added. General Moon's eyes lit up. This is a chance for us. If they fear us, we can use that. Or it's a responsibility, Dr. Lee countered quickly. They're giving us a chance to prove ourselves. The debate lasted for hours. Some leaders wanted to use the alien technology to build weapons. Others wanted to reach out peacefully. Dr. Lee listened to all sides, growing more worried. That night, he worked alone in the lab. The probe sat silently in its special chamber, its alien parts glowing softly in the dim light. What are you really trying to tell us? He whispered to the machine. As if in answer, a small panel on the probe suddenly slid open. Dr. Lee jumped back, then cautiously approached. Inside the panel was a small crystal, glowing with a soft blue light. He carefully removed it and placed it in a scanner. Data flooded his screen. Not technical information, but stories. Stories from each of the 7 alien civilizations. Dr. Lee read all night. When morning came, he called an emergency meeting. "I found something new," he told the gathered leaders. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but his voice was steady. The aliens didn't just leave us technology. They left us their histories. He showed them translations of the alien stories. Each civilization faced a turning point like the one we're facing now. They had to decide whether to use their technology for peace or war. And they all chose peace, President Yoon asked. "Not all of them," Dr. Lee said grimly. 2 species chose war first. One destroyed itself completely. The other nearly did, before changing course. He showed them images of a ruined world, its surface scarred by massive weapons. This was the home planet of the crystal mines, one of the 7 species. They nearly wiped themselves out before they learned to work together. General Moon frowned. "So this is meant to scare us?" "No," Dr. Lee said. "It's meant to teach us. Look at this." He showed them more data, mathematical proofs, scientific formulas, and engineering designs. "These are gifts," he explained. "Solutions to problems we haven't solved yet. Clean energy, food production, medicine. But notice what's missing. Weapons," Admiral Han said after studying the information. "Exactly," Dr. Lee nodded. "They've given us everything we need to solve our biggest problems, but nothing we could use to threaten others." Dr. Boz spoke up from the back of the room. "There's something else in the data. The aliens were surprised by our creativity. They think differently than we do. Our human minds found solutions they never considered. Which is why they fear us," General Moon said. "And why they're reaching out," Dr. Lee added. "They don't just fear what we might become. They're curious about what we could teach them." President Yoon stood up. "So where does this leave us?" Dr. Lee looked around the room at all the powerful people waiting for his answer. "At a crossroads," he said simply. "The aliens have offered us a place in their galactic community. But first, we have to show them what kind of neighbors we will be." 1 year passed since Pioneer XIB returned. The world had changed. New cities rose with clean energy from alien technology. Old diseases were cured with new medicine. Countries that once fought now worked together. And in the desert of New Mexico, humanity built its answer to the stars. Dr. Lee walked through the launch center, stopping to check screens and talk with workers. His hair had more gray now, and he looked tired but happy. This project had taken everything he had. "Is she ready?" he asked the chief engineer. "Yes, sir. Emissary I is ready to fly." The ship stood tall on the launch pad. It looked both human and alien, sleek and white with strange blue patterns running along its sides. Inside were the best astronauts Earth had to offer, led by Captain Kang. Checking all systems, Captain Kang said from inside the ship. Her calm voice came through the speakers in the control room. "Engines ready. Life support ready. Navigation ready." Dr. Lee joined Director Park and President Yoon in the main control area. They watched the ship on the big screens. "Are we making a mistake?" President Yoon asked quietly. "Maybe they stayed away from us for good reasons. They sent back our probe," Dr. Lee replied. "Whether to warn us or invite us, they opened a door. We need to walk through it, carefully, but bravely." Director Park nodded. "Our message is clear. We want peace, but we won't be pushed around." The countdown started. 10, 9, 8. Dr. Lee thought about the long year of work, how they had studied every part of the alien technology, how they had learned to use it, but also improve it in ways the aliens hadn't thought of. 5, 4, 3. He remembered the fights between world leaders. Some wanted to build weapons, others wanted to hide. In the end, they chose a middle path: reach out with open hands, but keep their strength. 2, 1. Go for launch, said the flight director. Emissary I rose into the sky, but there was no fire or smoke like old rockets. Instead, a column of soft blue-white light pushed it up. The new engine bent gravity itself, a gift from the aliens that human engineers had made even better. Inside the ship, Captain Kang and her crew felt almost no pressure as they rose faster and faster. In minutes, they passed the moon. In hours, they left the solar system. Starting the long-range broadcast, Captain Kang reported. From the ship, a message went out in all directions, in every type and frequency humans knew how to use. Hello from Earth. We got your message and want to join the space community. We come as explorers and possible friends. We hope to learn from you, as you learned from us through our small probe. We look forward to meeting you. What the message didn't say, but what the ship's design made clear, was that humans had already mastered the alien technology in new ways. Earth was ready to join the stars, but on fair terms. In the control room, people cheered and hugged each other. Dr. Lee stood quietly, watching the screens as the ship became a small dot and then vanished from view. What do you think they'll do when we arrive? Director Park asked him. I don't know, Dr. Lee admitted, but I think they'll be surprised. 6 months later, Emissary I approached the edge of alien space. Captain Kang sent a message back to Earth. We see lights ahead. Many ships gathering. They're waiting for us. Dr. Lee read the message in his office. On his desk sat a small piece of Pioneer XIB, a reminder of how this all began. His computer beeped with an incoming call. It was Dr. Bai, now leading her own research team. They translated the rest of the alien data, she said excitedly. You were right. They've been watching us for centuries, trying to decide if we're ready. And what did they decide? Dr. Lee asked. They didn't, Dr. Bai replied. They're still not sure. That's why they sent back the probe, to see what we would do with their technology. Dr. Lee looked out his window at the night sky. Somewhere up there, Captain Kang and her crew were about to meet the 7 Stars Accord. Well, he said softly, I guess they're about to find out. On the Emissary I, Captain Kang stood on the bridge as her ship slowed near a massive space station. Strange ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it. Open communications, she ordered. Send our greeting in all the languages we learned from the probe. Her communications officer nodded. Sending now, Captain. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, a beam of light connected to their ship. A voice spoke in strange but understandable words. Humans of Earth, you have surprised us. We welcome you to the first meeting. Captain Kang smiled. The feeling is mutual. We've waited a long time for this day. The galaxy had returned a lost Earth probe. Now, humanity was returning to the galaxy.